back to Across the Globe. My name is Stephanie.
I'm Alison.
And today is a very big day. Many, many more months than in the making of
I
this.
know. It did take a while.
It was supposed to be in February that we filmed this, and it's May.
Skip over that. Let's go.
Hey,
it's done.
So today is our big Make It Murder reveal. If you don't know what we're talking about, the Make It Murder Stitch Along was a Stitch Along that we hosted in September. It was supposed to run September through January. It is May, but we hosted it and it's done. And then at the end of the video, I'll talk about the one we're gonna do this year because we are gonna do it again. So after some fun stuff that happened at Midsummer Stitch and like some inside jokes and possible murders that happened at my house before I moved in.
Talk about the drama.
It became, like it was an idea for a stitch along, and so we did host it where you take a cute pattern or any cross stitch pattern, but the idea was you take one that is not
scary,
just like
totally normal,
and you turn it into a murder scene or something murder related, a la like a cozy murder mystery, like an Angela Lansbury, like you know, a British seaside murder, like just something cozy, but you make it scary cozy. And I did do two of them, and I have both to show you, and you have one to show, and then we have some that you guys stitched and turned in to show you guys as well. So let's dive in. Alison, you want to go first?
Yes, I do. Okay. This is the pattern I chose to do my murder mystery. So it is Seaside Tiny Town by Heart and Hand, which it's adorable as is, like super cute.
It's really cute.
However, it's not murdery enough. So
it's not murdery at all.
It is not murdery at all.
Why is it not so murdery?
I don't know. So I enhanced it. No, I'm just kidding. I changed it. It's different. It's way different. I did Seaside Murderville, Miami. This is a Dexter-inspired Seaside Tiny Town. We have changed it, and this is my second attempt. So some of the changes I made from the last one that were murdery, I didn't add into this one.
Okay.
And vice versa. So there's no boat with trash cans, but that's fine. So my big changes were the ice truck in front of the house.
Aww.
And if you've seen Dexter, you know what I'm talking about. The ice truck, the pelican has a foot in his mouth. It's Bay Harbor is the place, the town, and then right under that it says butcher shop. It's the Bay Harbor butcher shop.
That's very cute.
And I had something else. Oh, if you look in the butcher shop, those are hands. Those are severed hands instead of fish. So there you go.
Let me get my eyes on this puppy. And you made obviously changed the colors to a Miami.
Yeah, I want it to be pop.
Wow, those are definitely hands. Bay Harbor Butcher Shop. Oh my gosh. This is so funny.
And I changed the colors on this one to look more like police station.
Yeah.
I was gonna write like police station, but it's so
dark.
small.
Yeah.
It's too small to backstitch anything.
That is so good, Alison. That's so fun.
And instead of like pointing to the sea, I think it says police, and then this is the police.
Oh. Because everyone in this town needs the police.
You have to go to the police.
Oh my God, Alison.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
I see your vision.
It came out so much better than I thought too.
We are going to enter these at the state fair. I don't think they'll have any idea.
I don't think so either.
What's going on in this one.
Mm-mm.
I think they'll just be like, oh, that's so cute.
Mm-hmm. You really have to look to be like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
That's a foot.
All right, let's see the pattern and we'll show. So them side by side.
Okay.
So obviously, color palette.
Yeah.
Okay. So then point out your changes again with the...
Okay, so I added a truck in front of this building. So the ice truck. And then, it's hard to do from backwards. This used to say it says police. And the pelican standing on top of it is super cute with a little fish in his mouth, except now it's a foot.
Okay.
A bleeding foot.
I see. You made this building.
Yep. That's now the butcher shop. And those are little fish, which is so cute. And I did hands, which is not so cute. It was just a little bloody hands. That's fine. And then, of course, Bay Harbor Butcher Shop. And I think that's it.
I love it.
Other than all of the colors. I changed
every color, yeah. Because you wanted to.
Because I just want it to be really fun. Like tropical scenes.
How are you going to finish yours?
Oh, I've been thinking. I don't know.
Do you want to do it? So a lot of them are finished as drums. And obviously this is not a size of a frame. I've been thinking about it too. It's like, because I have looked at frames in thrift shops. I haven't found any for mine.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something, if y'all have any ideas. Only because the drum is very cute and very inventive, but I don't want. I want it to. Yeah, I want you to see it all put together.
Yeah.
Then what you really get it. Because if it was just like, oh, that's a cute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, Alison, congratulations.
Thank you. All right.
I did forget to say a couple things, which is we have like regular floss tubes and stuff. Our last floss tube was last Monday. We're going to record an extra today it's going to come out on Thursday. That's the other half of all the patterns our friend sent us after she saved an old LNS from going to the landfill. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And also if you are inspired by this to want to stitch murder patterns with us in September, subscribe so that you can stitch them with us. Okay.
But you can stitch them whenever you want.
Yeah.
But we can do it as a group.
Yeah.
And call it,
it's like we're going to be a little more, I feel like now that I've made the changes, and I feel like now that I've been successful, I'm way less scared about the stitching part, and I can focus more on the organization of the sal part of it. And like,
at first you're so intimidated because I don't make patterns, so how are you going to change it? But you kind of just work with it until something looks right, and then you're done.
Yeah, and only a couple times did I have to rip out stitches that I put in.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Hello Summer by Erin Elizabeth Designs.
It's so pretty. Okay. Okay, there's blood in the water.
Yep. So you guys can see the original pattern here. So this is, I only changed 3 things. So I took the crab out and instead I put a floating dead body, added blood in the water, and then the seagull has an eye in its mouth.
Is that okay? That's what I thought.
An eyeball, but that part I was like, that's a little harder to tell. But I feel like you would never know this was a literal dead floating body.
There's a murder right there.
But it is. Somebody murdered him on that boat and threw him off. I had an idea for putting like a man up here, like looking down spookily, but I didn't really have enough space to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I learned so many lessons about like just how to make changes on patterns that will probably help me in like lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I made him mostly with satin stitches, but there's a few full X's in there to get the correct shape. I use more satin stitches. And yeah, that's an eyeball in the mouth.
That is awesome.
So that is this is one where when I saw the pattern come out, I was just like, I would like to make that a murder pattern.
It's so pretty. Like if I just look, like if I'm just like, oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, I am gonna have it out this summer with just my normal summer seasonal decor and like not say anything.
Do it.
And I had a frame for him, but I decided to spend the time that I decided not to spend any time trying to fully finish it today, and instead try to get as much into my other one as possible. So that is my first one. I love it.
I love it. It's so good.
I love too, like how it's like so cheery and bright and summery, and then people will never know, but I'll know that it's a floating dead body in the water. That a murder has happened aboard this sailboat. Kind of White Lotus-y, but not. But it's obviously America. So that was my first one.
Yay!
I love it.
I love it too. It looks so good.
And here's my Frosted Tiny Town, which I turned into the Fargo movie.
Here.
So this is what the pattern looks like.
So see how serene and beautiful that is?
Now I am not finished. I still have to finish this house. And then I have 2 snowflakes to put here. And then I took this house out, which you'll see, and I need to put a snowflake because what I replaced it with doesn't fill the space. Mm-hmm. So I still have probably about 3 or 400 stitches. So before, so if I finish it tonight, which I'm hoping to, I'm editing this video tomorrow, so I'm just gonna show you my full finish now so you guys can get the full effect first. Because I just like ran out of time. I was like, I have to go. Because, what happened was last night I made an extra change that I hadn't planned on making. When I was going through the movie stills of the movie, I was like, I need that thing. And so then that took up some extra time. because making changes takes more time, even if it's the same amount of stitches.
You gotta work it out, yeah.
All right, so here we go. So I took out, right here there is a snowflake. I took it out and instead I put the wood chipper, and out of the wood chipper, it's really tiny.
Tell them what it's based on.
Fargo, the movie Fargo.
And I didn't know you said that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spoil Fargo because it's an amazing movie, but there is a wood chipper scene. So that is a leg in the wood chipper, and here's what's coming out of the wood chipper. And then Jerry's police car, which I looked it up as the 1987 Crown Victoria. So that's I stitched it off of a movie still, but I wanted to give that old school cop car feel. And then that's the statue of Paul Bunyan when you come into town. So I took the snowman out and put in Paul Bunyan instead.
I love it.
So that is my little, the movie's called Fargo, but the town in the movie is actually called Brainerd. So this is Brainerd, Minnesota, from the movie Fargo. And as you can see, I just had to put this house in here, a couple snowflakes, and then this space just looks, when I took it off the hoop and I saw, oh, everything else is filled in, because this will be filled in too. Then I was like, I just need to put a big snowflake in here, because there's a few snowflakes in the pattern that look kind of like that if I put it right there, will make it so it doesn't even look like it's been changed too much.
That is great. That is great. Honestly.
The thing is making it look like it's part of the original pattern enough that your eye doesn't go to the changes too much, so that they're kind of like, where's Waldo in there?
Oh, I see the wood chipper. Okay, I was like, that's what it is.
So it's a leg sticking out with a tennis shoe on it.
But there's blood spraying over the tree.
Yeah, because also, okay, so I'll show you guys I'll show you, I don't know if they're on my iPhone or off my iPad. I will, I'm going to insert the movie stills that I used as the inspiration. So here's the wood chipper. And in the movie stills, it doesn't give away anything about why there's a wood chipper in it or when in the movie it's happening. So here's the wood chipper. And then here's a pic of Jerry's cop car. Okay, editing Stephanie. I realized 2 times I referred to Marge as Jerry. If you know Fargo, you know why that's weird. But her name is Marge. Frances McDormand plays Marge, which is just, she's so wonderful. And then here's a pic of the statue of Paul Bunyan, because Brainerd is the home of Paul Bunyan. I don't know in real life, but in the movie it is. I think in real life too. But Fargo is based off a real murder. But mine is based off of Fargo and not off the real murder. Anyway, there's a kind of really very creepy, ominous statue of Paul Bunyan that as you go into town, so that's what I stitched off of. And then there's a movie poster. So the movie poster, there was a normal movie poster, but there's a movie poster that is a cross-stitched movie poster. Let me see if I can find it, because I took...
Or just put it in, show me later.
Yeah, okay, so I'll show you guys now. So it says a homespun murder, and then there's like a needle coming out. And I didn't remember that. I don't know if I'd ever seen that before. So the fact that...
I knew that, because somebody said, did you know, this was a long time ago, they did the intro for the show is the cross stitch part.
Oh, okay. Well, I have not rewatched the show since starting cross stitching.
Okay.
I did rewatch the movie, but it wasn't a great time in my life when I was rewatching the movie for this. And so I remember watching the movie, but it was the night where I said I saw a scorpion, and I did, because we do have brown scorpions, and he was like, I don't believe you. And it was like,
I've crushed I crushed like 15 spiders this weekend.
So anyway, so I don't remember if I saw an intro of it with the cross stitch or not.
I did.
It was, anyway, so I don't know if that was in my head, but I just think Frosted Tiny Town was in my head, that it was so snowy and cute.
Yeah.
So, I had so much fun. This is like, okay, it is so stupid how much fun it was, because like, you have this like anxiety. Okay, so this was my approach, and I don't know if your approach was the same. My approach was like, I'm gonna do everything, but leave space for my changes and do my changes last.
No, I did my changes as I went, in case I needed to spread it out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, I don't know if mine is longer than yours.
Mine is a little bit shorter, because I knew what my changes were gonna be, so I scooted this cop car shorter than the house it replaced. Yeah. So I scooted this over, so I knew that.
Mine actually looks shorter than yours then.
Well, mine's
This
a
is a
32
14.
count.
No, 60. Yeah, that's
Mine's
the same.
32 count. So mine should have been 11 inches, but I'm pretty sure it's a little bit shorter. No, it's pretty close though.
Very close. Mine might be a couple.
I think mine's only like 3 or 4 stitches shorter than it should be.
That's crazy.
So the way I did it was I did all of my stitching and I just left gaps where I knew I wanted things. So in this, where the wood chipper is, there's like the snowflake. So I just left that out. Where I put this cop car, I just took this house out, but then I counted the scale of what I wanted the cop car to be based on how big the door was and like how, you know, because the way that my brain worked, stitching the whole thing and then putting the changes in meant I was really familiar with how the pattern dealt with scale, how detailed things in the pattern were and were not. And so then I went in to go put in my things, I kind of had a guess for how detailed and big the items would be compared to, without having to be too scientific about it. Like it was just very natural. Paul Bunyan turned out a little bit strange looking, but I'm fine with it because first of all, this statue is spooky. And second of all, I think he turned out detailed enough for the pattern. I don't think he sticks out like a sore thumb or anything, especially when this house goes in. And then there's a couple snowflakes to go right there. So the only thing that sticks out to me right now is that this space above the cop car needs something. And I'm just gonna put the big snowflake that I took out right in there. But by doing everything first and then doing the changes last, I also was on this like, it was very adrenaline building because it was like, I'm putting so much time into something and I don't know if it's gonna work. And then the changes go in last and it's like, ah. And of course, like I have a tiny bit left, but like I had, you know, it's just a house. So like I knew everything else. And these snowflakes need to go in, but they're going to be different than the snowflakes that were there because of the way that Paul Bunyan is different. So those are also technically tiny changes, but like not big ones. But seeing like I did the wood chipper last. So that was like, oh, is it going to work? And then I saw it and I was like, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Especially when I started stitching on that tree and I was like, if I have to pull these red stitches out, then the tree might get messed up, but I love it. And I don't think my kids are going to notice anything about it. And I don't think the State Fair might notice, but
they might notice, yeah.
But I just think this was so much fun. Yay. So I'm definitely excited. I know I'm going to do another tiny town.
I was going to say, I would recommend a tiny town if you're going to change one.
Because of the way that you can just like delete things and add things, like you can delete out, like it's very easy to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to take that out. I'm going to take that out and put my changes in there, right? Very easy. But then also you have really obvious scale, like the door is this big, so a car would be this big. The door is this big, so a statue would be this big. The only thing I have that I think is totally off scale from the movie is I think in real, the statue of Paul Bunyan will be a lot bigger, but I don't think that's like a huge difference. But yeah, this was really easy to work with. This Erin Elizabeth was also easy to work with because I just deleted an element and then added elements in their place. I didn't move anything. The only thing I stitched differently than it was charted that I kept was for the beak, I back stitched the bottom of the beak to hold the eye in, but you can like barely see it.
It needs the whole Bible.
This is with the called for DMC on the called for fabric. Just blood instead of a crab. And this is on like charted on Seraphim, but I did it on 32 count vintage Story Night Lugana just because I had it. And I probably would have cut my fabric smaller, but this was an offcut from another project, so it was already this width. So if I'd made it smaller, I don't know if I would have actually used the other fabric. So, and then I give myself some wiggle room if I find a frame that it just needs like, we'll just have too big of a border or something. This is so fun.
That's fun.
I'm definitely gonna do another tiny town, and then if I do, I'm gonna give myself a lot.
This is so much more true. Like, if you knew what the pattern it was, you'd be like, yeah, that's way different.
Yeah, but I still don't know if you'd be like, oh, it's murder.
Yeah.
But I think if you just saw mine, you'd be like, oh, that's Frost's Tiny Town, and it would take you, especially when I finished filling it in.
Yeah.
And then you would be like, wait a minute. But a lot of people wouldn't even probably ever look close. So, I don't know which tiny town I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself all summer to kind of like dream and plan, and then September 1st, I'm serious. Oh, I don't like stitching on Lugana normally, but I thought Lugana was actually a great fabric for this project because it's neater than stitching on linen, right? Because it's a little more even. But a lot of my changes needed half stitches and quarter stitches and stuff, or because I was just kind of freehanding. Oh, that's the other thing. By putting everything in first, then I could have my changes if I wanted to like do half stitches, or if I wanted to move it over half a stitch. I was never going to be counting off of it. So like this, like the stitch on the bottom of the wood chipper is like in the middle of the two stitches on top of it, which isn't how you would chart something like that normally, to put it like off like that. But for this it worked, but I also knew it wasn't going to mess anything else up because it was the last thing I was doing. But anyway, so I'm gonna give myself all summer to dream. Yay. And then I have this idea for something else, but we'll see how ambitious I am in September. For my rules for me are gonna be things that are easy to just delete and put something else in, as opposed to, I don't want to move elements around. There's no rules for this out. This is just when I'm thinking about patterns. I don't want to be moving things around.
It's free for all, whatever pattern you want.
As much as I want to pick things where I can just be like, replace.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I do think I'm probably going to do it on Lugana again, because I felt like it made my changes easier to do on the fly, because I didn't have to pierce Ada, and then I didn't have to deal with any linen slubs or anything. And then, oh, there was one other thing I was going to say as a tip that I figured out for myself. Oh, these were like both were like under 3,000 stitches, or like this might be like 3,500 stitches. Something that like I can't get too bored with, so that I can sit down and do the whole thing and like kind of start to finishy. And it's not the changes aren't so far away, but it's also not like just like so small that there's no real payoff for having done. Yeah. It's like still substantial. All right, so these are both gonna, when they're framed, I have the frame for this. I haven't found a frame for this. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. I'm gonna keep looking. I've looked at a few thrift stores. I'm gonna keep looking before I give up. But they are gonna go on my murder wall. Right now it has 3 pieces. Now it's gonna have 5. That's a pretty big.
That is. That's great.
I do think I'm gonna move things around and like reconfigure them because they're not they don't really it doesn't make sense just to add these 2 in there. And I do get them up. I'll give you guys an update. And then, but yeah, I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get Frosted Tiny Town done. Okay, so now we're gonna do the reveals from the other participants in the SAL who wanted to be included in the video. So I'm gonna show them to Alison because she hasn't seen them yet. And then, so we're gonna go and come right back, and then I'll play them for you guys. Okay, so Alison and I just went through the reveals. We're gonna play them for you now. Couple things to know. Well, when I asked people to send stuff in, they had the choice of sending in a photo and a description or a video. I knew people who were like doing floss tubes regularly would probably just rather explain it in a video. But if you never do that, that would probably be a little intimidating. So you could do it whichever way you wanted. So you guys will see both videos from the stitchers, and then you'll also see some stills of stitching where I'm just reading what their explanation was. But we just watched the videos together. It was really...
They're so good, y'all.
It's so creative.
So good. They're so creative. Yeah. That's just it. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that, but that is perfect.
Oh, and the other thing is that there were no rules about like where you had to be in the process to send in your reveal. You could just be at the concept phase, or you could have finished the stitch. So mostly I think what you guys are going to see are like whips in progress, but they explain their concepts, which was really fun. So, all right, here you go.
Hi, this is Rosanna, Bright and Dusty on YouTube. And for the Make It Murder Sal, I picked a pattern out of this book, Quick to Stitch Cross Stitch Cards. The one that I chose is this Valentine House by Joan Elliott. So you can see there are a couple of little bunnies down here in the corners. So what I decided to do was turn this into a murder bunny dream house. So I'm going to put bunnies at all of the corners. And what I did was I charted this knife, So here is where I am. And you can see I've got one of my bunnies so far. He is holding a knife. He's got a few drops of blood there. And I'm making some progress on this house. So I just want to thank Stephanie and Allison for creating this very fun and original stitch along. And now I feel very motivated to finish this. All right, bye.
Hi y'all, I'm Tamara from I'd Rather Be Stitching. The pattern I picked is called Fish in a Bottle by Happy Little Mouse on Etsy. This is what the mock-up looks like. And what I did was I took out the big fish here and everything that makes it look like it's inside a bottle. And I'm just doing like a cross section of a lake instead. And I have a corpse. These are not sized for this, they're sized for the actual pattern. And then I have a man escaping up at the top. And I have two different kinds of fish. This is one of them, and I don't know where they're going to go. Somewhere around will be the fish. And this is what it looks like so far. Bye, y'all.
This one was submitted by Allie from Red Panda Homebody on Instagram. And she said that this is the fictional town of Great Slaughter from the BritBox series Sister Boniface Mysteries. She used Halloween Tiny Town to get proportions and then charted the buildings from the town on her own and designed it from screenshots of the show, which sounds familiar. And it's so British and so fantastic. This next submission is from Marissa. She goes by Craftical Magic Stitches on Instagram. For this stitch, I was drawn to Autumn in the City by Crochet Go-Go as the foundation. It's so cute, but there was something about the animals where the more I looked, the more sinister the scene became. The owls on top of the houses were reading a bit terrified. The female rabbits with the big scissors was looking a bit sinister, and as soon as I realized the squirrel in the tree could hold a knife, I knew I just had to do this one. As I was stitching and making my changes, I also realized all the foliage and the turkey by the houses could be subbed out for the plants and poisonous plants by the witchy stitcher. It's still a whip, and I may be inspired to make a few more changes, but I love the blend of the cute and murdery as I stitch. 1/1 on 28 count weathered stone Lugana from Atomic Ranch using random glosses from Stash. And Alison and I kept looking at like each plant, like when we were looking at it, it's like, oh, and that's a poisonous plant, and that's a poisonous plant. And I totally agree. These are quite sinister bunnies. And the squirrel wielding a bloody knife is the cherry on top. This next submission is from Betsy. She goes by Betslina Stitches on Instagram and on FlossTube. And she said she didn't have any pictures, but if you're letting folks know just kind of what's going on and in progress, she said, she's doing a Twin Peaks tiny town. I can't wait to see this. I might poke her and be like, in September, can we get an update? Because I have to see a Twin Peaks tiny town. She's rearranging elements of different tiny towns to be similar to a street or map of Twin Peaks from the David Lynch show. There are some key locations elements she wants to include: the Double R Diner and Big Ed's gas station, Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department, Leo's Giant Truck, the Great Northern Hotel, possibly, the Packard Mill, possibly. And yeah, so definitely check out her FlossTube, and I can't wait to see this when some of it is stitched up. This next one is from Rachel of the FlossTube and Instagram Licking Floss. She said, I'm a true crime fan, but I'm also a horror movie fan. I made my alterations to fit the 2011 movie Cabin in the Woods, and the original chart is from the Drawn Thread Woodland Walk. I added a camera at the top pointing towards the cabin, a diary from the Buckner family, Kreinik shields to keep the cabin separated from the rest of the world, roads to show their road trip, red vines to represent blood coming from the workers' shirts, sacrifice to represent their ritual sacrifice, a conch for the merman, a dragon bat, the giant evil god hand coming from the crowd, and cabin in the woods. This was a very fun sal, and it sure got the creative juices flowing. Thank you, Rachel. This next one is from Catherine Turnbull of Turnbull's Threads.
She didn't submit a picture, so I'm going to again include a picture of her lovely FlossTube channel. It's Turnbull Threads on FlossTube and Instagram. So she said, for this start along, and it's probably the project I will use for this year's as well, I was inspired by Private Eyes and a Told in the Garden bookmark booklet. I'm going to have a villainous village spelled out along the bottom with the characters from the movie along the top and maybe the car and the mansion on either side. We've started the first of the 2 bumbling detectives here, and I have to add the butler, the maid, the phantom, i.e. the supposedly dead lord, the murderous adopted daughter, the chef, the stable boy, and the housekeeper. I plan on having a border with bombs and poison bottles too, but that hasn't happened yet. Looking forward to seeing the final reveals. Thank you so much, Catherine. This next one is Beck from Beck's Bin. She's Beck's Bin on FlossTube and Instagram, and she is also the person who saved all those patterns from going to a landfill in our videos about the video that's coming out Thursday and the one that came out a couple weeks ago. So thank you so much, Beck. For this Sal, she said she took this, so she shows you guys the pattern on the right, or on the left, sorry. And that's her inspiration pattern, and she changed the colors. Look at those amazing buttons. And for Rosemary's Baby, so it says she added a pentagram, cobwebs, altered the bear to give him red eyes. Okay. Used buttons instead of floss, added my own twist on the words, and then this is going to be an ornament for her Halloween tree. So I'm obsessed. Thank you, Beck. This last one is from Marissa. She is Crafting Without Kids on Instagram. And I love the wire frame that she chose for this piece. She said that the pattern, the original pattern is called, it's called The Old Fashioned Water Tower by Ginger Gerald. And she came up with a murderous scene in her head and simply said, haiku for Katie, their initial scratch in the metal leg now highlighted in red, which is chilling. So thanks, Marissa.
Okay, so that was, thank you, those were the rest of the Make It Murder reveals. Thank you to everyone who sent one in. And then also, that was really fun.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone who participated in the Instagram chat. It was not super lively after a while. I think I just got over, I will be so much better running the stitch along part of it now that I understand that I can do the stitching part of it.
It's not as intimidating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel more well, I got this stitch. I can do whatever tiny town, murder town I want to do. I can do it. And I just got to run the Sal part of it. So this year's will be a little more lively. We'll make a new chat for people who want to participate this year. Again, that's going to be for September. And since we'll just have it the month of September, it'll be easier for people to plan, what do I want to get done in September? But you do not have to do your whole whip to participate. It's just, however far along in the process you want to get. I just have to do my whole whip to do it, because otherwise what's the point of filming that video?
Yeah.
But if we do it in September.
Also, if it becomes one of many whips, it'll be a year before I see it again,
Yeah, that's the thing is, it's not like we were working on it in the meantime. And so I just want to be okay, I'm doing it in September. If you want to do it in September, cool. If that ends up not being a good work time, then I will be doing it in September.
Yeah.
And filming the reveal the first week of October, so that it can be a fun October Halloween time video too. But it's murder, it's not Halloween.
Right.
So it's the crime, not the ghost that haunts the crime.
Right.
Okay. All right. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. On Thursday, you're going to see that cool video, which is the other half of the LNS. We're going to record it now. And, but I'm going to be putting stuff all week. So if you are I don't want to see the video of you doing the stuff, I want to shop the stuff before anybody else gets it. The link to the shop is in the description. And then, thank you guys to everyone who signed up to be in the Zoom Stitch With Me membership. I think we have enough people that, unless people hate it, and drop out, that we would be able to continue past the 3-month, trial that we were going to do, which is very exciting. But, if you want to do Sunday Stitch With Me starting May 18th, the way you sign up for that is you go to the membership, you sign up for a membership, it's $5.99. And then on May 18th, you join us, me, for a Zoom stitch along. I am trying to get you sometimes, but we'll see.
Me and Mom are volunteering for the beep baseball. tournament.
I won't.
Baseball for the blind.
Not that day, but it's gonna be every Sunday, and then when on Sundays when I'm gonna be busy, it'll be moved. And then there'll be one monthly Stitch with me on YouTube only. So if you were interested in that, sign up in the membership, and then other than that, subscribe for all the craziness. And yay, Alison's here. All right, thanks you guys so much, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye.